Welcome to the Scent of Beauty. My name is Susan, and I'm grateful to have you here with me today. I wanted to continue with the idea of identity and our scent of beauty. As we go on and take a look at how our belief system, we talked about Hester Penn in the Scarlet Letter and how that A was sewn into her dress and how that became a part of her. What I wanted to explore is how being bound to a perimeter, how that can affect our identity. I have been associating with a group of friends, and as I start to meditate on the scent of beauty, I realize that in that environment, that my my biochemistry starts to change. The question that I have is, what is your scent in an environment? What are you known for in that environment? I have been going in this particular environment that I mentioned for years, and I have found that I am losing my scent because the primary scent of the group no longer complement me, my personal scent. When I leave the group, I have found that the residual of the group scent is affecting me, and not in a pleasant way. I am leaving with a secondhand scent that leaves an undesirable psyche chemical reaction. Being identified in the group for so long, what I have found is pulling away and separating. There is an uncomfortability of the unknown, my being, my vibration, that scent of my own scent becoming stronger. The longer I can just be, I have found the more my scent lasts. These are words that I'm expressing to unfold a psychological change and sometimes a psychological dilemma, because the problem many individuals find themselves in, they cannot verbalize that something, that change, when when their scent is not being complimented and they're leaving with secondhand scent, and there's not a word to elaborate what they're experiencing. And so doubting their own scent, doubting their own chemical reaction to the environment, they keep on going back over and over again. So we subject ourselves to the secondhand scent. Our psychological disturbance become very disturbing to us. And in actuality, that is our intuition and our instincts becoming alive, which plays a huge part in my identity as an individual. My autonomy, your autonomy is our intuition. When I mention secondhand scent, it doesn't have to be labeled good or bad. It simply can be called a natural smell, neutral smell. But in neutrality, what can occur is being mundane. Many of us are familiar with Paul Revere writing all night, and we have heard that Paul Revere said, the British are coming, when he went to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock. But there is more to the story than at least what I had heard. By no means I am here for a history lesson, but it wasn't just Paul Revere. There were two other writers with him. But what really caught my attention was a misnomer. The guard that was guarding Samuel Adams and John Hancock said something to Paul Revere that I found to be very interesting. Monroe was the sergeant's name, and he said to Paul Revere that Paul Revere should not make so much noise. The key point to the reason why I'm mentioning this is because Paul Revere, he responded by saying, noise, you have noise enough before long. You'll have noise enough before long, and there's an exclamation point. And then he says, the regulars are coming out. The Psyche sent for Esther in the scarlet letter was the A, as I mentioned before, that was sewn into her dress. First by others, and then she did that herself. The belief, the regulars are coming out. She went back into that same environment, and immediately the regulars started coming out. Her identity was tied into an act that she committed years prior to her sewing that letter back onto her dress. How often is our identity tied into a mistake or something that we did in our past, and the belief is sewn into our identity, and the environment keeps perpetuating the scent. In the end, when she died, she was buried with the person that she had the affair with, and they shared one big A. And what I thought about is, when we take a look at our identities, are we continuing on a path where at the end of the path, or on the path that we're on today, am I associating the behavior that was public embarrassment, scrutiny, shame by others, and that I have internalized it, or we can internalize it to the extent where the behavior becomes who I identify myself with. So the autonomy of our being become lost in something that we had done or have done in our past. We're talking about our scent of beauty. How is that scent being received in our lives? How am I expressing it? And is it beneficial not only to those that are around us, but am I captivating my aroma? And is it really who I truly am. We don't have to continue with the regulars are coming out. The regulars don't have to have victory because we have been warned. Welcome to the scent of beauty.